Welcome back. This is Your Town. I'm Marianne Leffel. I'm your host for today. I do want to just make mention of the Monterey Bay Defense Alliance breakfast in February. So you can go to the Monterey County Business Council website and take a look at that event, and you can register. It's really important, and we're going to have Admiral Mike McMillan as our guest speaker that day. He was the Chief of Staff. So I think that the Joint Chief of Staff. So if you see him, you'll be amazed at what he knows. And we're fortunate that we have him. He's here in our community, and he's joining us that morning for breakfast. So take a look at it, Monterey Bay Defense Alliance, and we hope to see you there. So my second guest today is someone that we talked to a couple years ago, and we were just talking about the differences of then and now. And Raquel, Katie's Cold Press.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So you have had a crazy year.
Yes. So we got our first location on the Presidio of Monterey. We'd been looking for a spot to be our home base for a couple years, and there were a few potential locations that we went for, and they just weren't the perfect fit. And we were approached by the services director for the Presidio, and they'd done a survey on base, and the troops wanted more plant-based options, healthier options, more local options, and they happened to be driving behind my delivery vehicle and just looked us up online. And at the time we were subletting through Captain Stoker, and they saw the juice there and got in touch, and we started the whole contracting process, which took about 4 months. And then we built out the space, my husband and I and our electrician, our plumber. And it took us a few months to get it all ready to go, but now we've been there for a couple of weeks. It's going really well.
I'm sure. Well, and I think you opened when some people were still coming back from the holiday leave time.
Exodus, yeah.
So I'm just thinking it's probably kind of nice because you had kind of a soft opening where you could ease into how things work.
Yes.
But now I'm sure everybody's back, so you're probably...
Yeah, we're very busy, but it is, I'm happy to ease into it because it's all really new to me. We're really familiar with our own production and scaling that, through the 2 markets we're doing each week now. But the logistics of having the food and having new staff is all, new. So I'm happy to kind of be easing into it.
So what are your hours there?
We're open from 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 2 on the weekends.
Okay.
So 7 days a week.
To access that, someone has to have a military ID, be a retired military, or work on the base. But they can find your product at the 2 farmers markets. The Monterey Farmers Market.
That's right. From 4 to 7 in Monterey on Tuesdays on Alvarado Street, and then Carmel by the Sea. We're there from 10 to 2 every Thursday. And now that we've got staff at the shop, we're back at those markets.
And you have home delivery.
We do, every Monday. People order from our website, which is just katiescoldpress.com, and we bring it right to their doorstep and drop it off in cooler bags. And then we return the following week to pick up the empty bottles, and those all get reused. So it's kind of like the old-fashioned milkman.
I have used that, and it's fabulous.
Thank you.
You're there when you say you're there, and then just the bottles disappear. And so that's the end of it.
Thank you. I'm glad that was a good experience. We try to be really consistent,
Yeah, that was really good. And the juices were, they're always good.
Thank you.
They're always good. I love the carrot ginger, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite.
It's fun to make something that I still like to, drink after 5 years. I'm a fan.
How do you find your recipes?
Well, there are just tons, online that you can start with and then adapt to your tastes. We get a lot of feedback from customers. Like, we just started creating a celery juice because people have been asking for it at the market. And our biggest challenge with that is finding organic celery because it's become so popular all of a sudden, and there's a little bit of a celery shortage, so it's hard to source enough organic celery. But we like to, listen to people, ask for feedback, too spicy, not spicy enough, and really make what people want.
Well, I have to say you were pretty much my meal for a couple of weeks after I had
Yes.
surgery a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So it really it was amazing to be able to get that type of nutrient, and it tasted good, and I wasn't
Good.
just having clear liquids anymore.
Yes. Yes.
I did get tired of those.
It makes me really happy to be able to provide that. Some of our customers have challenges with absorbing nutrients and with solid foods in general, and this is how they get, the bulk of their nutrition every week. So it's really nice to create something that's helping people in that way.
So I want to talk a little bit about the co-op kitchen that you're in up in
Yes.
Watsonville, because that really was an amazing addition to our entire regional community for startup businesses in the food service.
Yeah, it's an amazing resource, and unfortunately, it's kind of rare. I wish that they were in every city, but the Haro CDC was started 6 years ago, and it's a nonprofit. And its mission is to help small food businesses that may have trouble paying, high hourly rates at other commercial kitchens or starting their own commercial kitchens, which is very expensive for a new business. They wanted to give those little businesses a chance to get off the ground in kind of a safe, controlled environment with lots of access to workshops and, staff to help walk them through licensing and a lot of community support too. Everyone's very kind to each other there. There's a lot of mutual respect, and when you're an entrepreneur, you may not have coworkers for years and years until you have your own staff, and partners. So starting out, having that sense of community around you, supporting you, and kind of being there in the trenches with you is a really nice thing to have.
That camaraderie of,
Yeah.
oh my God, do you know what happened today?
Yes, yeah, and you're like, okay, you see this is normal, I'm not doing anything wrong, this is just part of the process. Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, do you have any extra cilantro?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's that too. You find some good food through the kitchen. Yes.
I've seen several small businesses grow
Yeah.
out of there, and is there capacity right now if people wanted to apply?
Absolutely, yes. So you would just Google Haro CDC commercial kitchen. You'd get in touch with Cesario Ruiz or Carmen Hernandez, and they would walk you through the steps of how to, become a client of the kitchens. And there's very little obligation up front. You need to do, the very standard legal things to be an operating food business, but then you pay by the hour. You pay a small fee for storage, we have our machine and a pallet and a cage. But beyond that, we just pay by the hour, and it's a really reasonable rate, more competitive than anything I've seen anywhere else. So highly
And then
recommend.
how do you find the workforce for when you're actually pressing?
So our manager now, our production manager, just happened to be the cousin of someone who worked for the Haro CDC. So we just asked around, does anyone know someone who's done a good job, who needs more work, who's looking for more hours that, maybe another client isn't able to give them at that time. And people will, recommend their staff to each other, and everyone's familiar with the kitchen, so it can be easy to find people there.
It's great. It's a great way to see it work and flourish.
Yeah.
And, I think we forget about it.
Yeah.
I forget about it, and I was there for their grand opening. But it's one of those things that I had a couple clients, and then as life moves on, you just kind of have to be reminded that there are these, I think, really good treasures in our community.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is a treasure.
So, is it your long-term plan that you would have a full kitchen of your own, or maybe with one other person here in Monterey County?
Yeah, we would like to have our own kitchen here in Monterey County eventually, just so we have the flexibility. For the most part, we're able to work at our station in the kitchen when we need to, but if our volume gets to a certain point, you just naturally outgrow it and you need your own space. So that's what we're hoping to get to eventually, and we'd also do food there, and we'd have it available to the public. As right now, as much as we love the Presidio, the hardest thing about it is that our customers who've been with us for years and years can't get to us there. So we want to have a space like that out in Monterey where everyone can get to us.
Now, if I remember correctly, when we talked the last time, if there's something about the way the food is that you have to be in a commercial kitchen. You can't do it out of your house.
Yes, because it's perishable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then it's got a it's actually got a fairly long shelf life. I mean,
Yeah, a week is the FDA, date stamp shelf life.
so I have granddaughters that, if you get within 2 days of a best if used by, they're thinking you're poisoning them.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone's got to make that judgment for themselves. I drink mine to a week pretty comfortably.
Me too.
Yeah.
I tell my kids they managed to survive on stuff that was a year old that I fed them. So
Oh, yeah.
get over it.
Yeah, there you go.
But if you do that, obviously you have to have a bigger volume because you have to be able to absorb what doesn't sell.
Yeah, that's true. And having the ability to sell multiple days a week also. Like if you're at one farmer's market like we were for a long time on Alvarado Street, if we made just a tiny bit, too much juice, there's just nowhere else to sell it after that market. And, we're all drinking as much juice as we can, but you're working really, really hard to keep your production tight. And when you have, a couple more days to sell it, you have way more flexibility. It just makes everything easier.
Well, I was looking, something came up, and I was looking at a big juicer and all of that, and I know you can make a big mess in your kitchen when you're doing all of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why wouldn't people just call Katie?
Yeah, that's where I was when I started the business. I was like, this is a big hassle, and I can't even make, as much as I should be making to be worth cleaning up the mess because you have to drink it pretty quickly. It's like I might as well just do one big cleanup after one big juice production. So
makes sense.
Yeah, same cleanup either way.
Does the produce that you use, does it all come within about a 30-40 mile radius?
Yeah, just because of, the wonderful nature of where we are, we don't have to go far to get good produce. We get our apples from Prevedelli's, and we get some of our produce from Hall's, and a lot of it through a wholesaler in Watsonville that sources from local farms, but, packs it up nice and convenient for us.
So I think that's another selling tool, that you're not bringing it in from some other state. It's here.
Yeah.
So.
And we're a certified green business, and we reuse all our glass bottles. We compost all of our veggie scraps and all of our pulp. So we try to be as sustainable as possible.
Yeah, that's good. What's the favorite? What's the best seller or the best two?
Summer cider. It's an apple lemon ginger. It's
it
just
is
like,
good.
Yeah, it just has that little bit of a kick, and it's kind of like a gateway juice for people that are like giving it the side eye, like, I don't want that. That's vegetables, and then they try it and they're like, okay, like maybe, and then maybe they'll try another one, and But my favorite surprise is Heartbeat, our beet juice.
I love that one.
Because people will think they hate beets because maybe they've had them prepared in a way that wasn't the best their whole life, and then they try it and they're like, oh, like beets can be really good. And you're like, yes.
I think I had 3 bottles of it, and I came one day to drink it, the last one, and it was gone.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what happened? And
Somebody...
Hal said, well, I watched you drinking those side to side, and I was going to try it. That was really good.
You're like, uh-huh.
I know, but I really wanted it. So, I think there's a lot to that. Now, is there one called Army Greens?
There is. That's our
that
most popular green. It is a big seller, and people, it's so funny on base, they think that I made it as like a nod to them, which I would have, but we have been selling it for 5 years because I used to work at the military after school center, and we would donate to them, and I'd volunteer there, and just as a nod to them. But and my husband's also a DoD civilian over at the Stillwell Center, and the military didn't know any of this when they contacted us, so it was kind of just a happy coincidence that we were already affiliated with the community.
That probably helped with the background checks and everything to get you on base.
A little bit. It's still a long process, but my husband could get on.
Yeah, it's a long process to open a business, no matter what.
Yes.
I always used to advise potential clients that, give it a long tail on it, because it isn't you just have a fabulous idea and a product and you're up and running. It doesn't happen that way.
And if you're new to business, there's just so much to learn. I needed years of training to become a person that could run the business we have now. Like, I just wasn't able to do that 5 years ago, and even now with building our team and, learning how to be a good manager. Like, these are all new skills that I haven't really had to have before now. So I'm very aware of my own ignorance, and I'm totally fine with continuing that learning process, as long as we are doing this.
Are you able to find spouses to work at?
Yes, actually, the person who's running the shop right now is a military spouse.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then my weekend helper is the daughter of someone in the military. Yeah, so that worked out really well.
That works really well.
Yeah.
And it's good. They have work, which is right there where it's handy for them too.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And there's a really fun dialogue that goes on between them and the customers, in that language that I'm not quite familiar with enough,
Yes.
to use, talking about their shared experiences. And, I want the space to be somewhere where people feel really welcome and really comfortable and, feel like they can.
Yeah,
chat.
it's on my list to come this week, Katie. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yes.
come up because Hal's retired Army colonel, so we'll take a drive up.
Awesome. Let me know when, and I'll make sure I'm there.
We'll try to coordinate it.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. I've watched your build out and
Yeah.
what you were doing, and it looked like such a very nice addition to
Thank you.
the property up there.
Thank you. It was really fun to design it. I really like being creative, with food or with painting or with, interiors. There's just so many opportunities for creativity in business. And that was a good one.
No, I think it's really good. So, if you don't mind, you used CalCoastal, didn't you?
Yes.
So
yeah.
why don't we talk about that a little bit? Because I think that's a resource to small business that people don't understand.
Yeah, I'm really happy to talk about that. When I started off, I was not in a great position to get a business loan, and by a lot of metrics, I'm still not a great candidate for a business loan because, the standards are very high for your credit score and your collateral and your experience. And what I liked about CalCoastal is that they looked at the whole picture of the business, and they really took into account the work that I had done to grow it, and the proof the business was running well beyond like the obvious sky-high profits that banks might look for. And they really walked me through the process in more than once, through 3 locations, and pointed out flaws in the plan that actually deterred me from going for one of those locations because they advised against it. So not only did they get us the funding, but they really helped me prepare myself for the process of opening. So I worked with Lori Van Beber. She was my loan officer, and she came, to the grand opening. She brought flowers, and I'm just really happy to be working with them.
Well, it becomes a total relationship.
Yes.
And it's when they know everything about you by the time
Oh, yeah.
they've written the check.
Very well acquainted. Yes.
So it's just nice that it continues on. And
Yeah.
I saw that she was at your grand opening, so I wanted to give a shout out to them because I think they do a good job with small business.
They do, and they really want you to succeed. They just want to make sure that you're prepared for what you're getting into and that you don't have any, major blind spots going in, which is good. I don't want to go in with any major blind spots either.
No one wants to be programmed for failure.
Yes, exactly.
So let's have a shout out to how they find you and where they could order online.
Okay, yeah, you can order online, katiescoldpress.com, juice packages. We do free local delivery from Salinas to Carmel every Monday, and all you have to do is order a package that's $48 or more to get the free delivery. So you could even, go in with a couple of friends, get one for your office, and we are at the Tuesday Farmers Market from 4 to 7 every week on Alvarado Street. We're right across from Rosine's. And the Carmel by the Sea Farmers Market at 6th and Mission, that's right next door to Devendorf Park, from 10 to 2 on Thursday. So we'll be there tomorrow.
Perfect. So, Katie, thank you so much, and congratulations on your next step in your ongoing adventure. And thank you for bringing such great juice to our community.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Marianne.
So this is Your Town. Don't go away. We'll be back in a minute with our last guest of the day. Thank you.